In this video, we will discuss about topic vector, which is a part of the content of the lesson motion in two dimensions, that is motion in plane. The physical quantities are broadly classified in two categories, scalar quantities and vector quantities. Before that, we must know what are physical quantities. The quantities which can be measured are known as physical quantities, and they are classified in two groups, scalar quantities and vector quantities. We are concerned with vector quantities here. What is vector? Those physical quantities which needs magnitude as well as direction to be defined completely are known as vector quantities. They need magnitude as well as direction to be defined completely. When you are saying that 5 Newton force, speaking 5 Newton alone will not completely specify the force, because the direction of application of 5 Newton force is very important. The same 5 Newton force produces different amount of effects when applied in different directions. So, specifying a vector quantity, we have to define its magnitude as well as direction. Some examples of physical quantities are your displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force. Now, a representation of a vector. A vector is symbolically represented by a straight line having arrowhead at the tip. The length of the straight line represent magnitude and arrow gives the direction. So here the length of this vector, the length of this arrow represents the magnitude of the vector, arrow represents the direction, and arrow end is known as head and other end is known as tail of the vector. Vectors are also represented by single capital letters like A vector, B vector, C vector. This is a symbol to represent a vector. In some books, letters are written in bold to represent a vector quantity. Some vector quantities are represented by their respective symbols with an arrow above it, like position vector, velocity vector, force vector, and so on. Now, types of vectors on the basis of orientation. Let us see some definition. Parallel vectors. Two vectors are said to be parallel vectors if they have same direction. You can see the direction of A vector and B vector is same, but it is not necessary that their magnitude is also same. Equal vectors. For two vectors to be called as equal vectors, their magnitude must be equal and their direction must also be the same. See, here A and B vectors, the length of their straight line is same, representing that they are of same magnitude, they are in the same direction. So these two are equal vectors. Two vectors are said to be anti-parallel vectors if they are in opposite direction. They may be of any magnitude. The only condition that is required that they must be oppositely directed. You can see this is the direction of A, this is the direction of B. Both are oppositely directed. Hence are called anti-parallel vectors. Negative vectors. Negative vector of a vector is of the same magnitude as that of the vector but oppositely directed. Here A and B both are of the same magnitude, they are opposite in direction, so A is equal to minus B vector. Or suppose we have to write negative of A vector, then this will be your minus A vector. This will be your minus B vector. So A vector magnitude and minus A vector magnitude, their magnitude are same. The only thing is that they are oppositely directed. Then some classifications are understood very well. Collinear vectors, co-initial vectors, coterminous vector, coplanar vectors. The vectors which are contained in the same plane are called coplanar vectors. Those which are not contained in the same plane are called non-coplanar. Then types of vector on the basis of effect. Polar vectors. Vectors having a straight line effect are called polar vectors, like displacement, velocity, acceleration. Axial vectors, the vectors having rotational effect are called axial vectors, like angular momentum, angular acceleration, torque, angular velocity, that you will come to know about this term in the chapter rotational motion. Now vector addition. Vector quantities are added not like scalars. They are having separate algebra for addition, subtraction and multiplication. So let us see how vectors are added. First, to add two vectors, the law is known as triangle law of vector addition. If two vectors acting on a particle simultaneously can be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of the triangle taken in order. So you can see here A and B are the two vectors acting on the same particle. They are represented by the two adjacent sides of the triangle. Then their sum or resultant is represented by the third side of the triangle taken in reverse order. So these two are in same order. So if we have to take in same order, then it will be this direction. But here we have to take reverse order. So this will be the reverse order. So this will represent the sum of A and B. So C is equal to A vector plus B vector. There is another law known as parallelogram law of vector addition for adding two vectors, which says that if two vectors acting on a particle simultaneously can be represented both in magnitude as well as direction by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then their resultant is represented both in magnitude as well as direction by the parallelogram of by the diagonal of the parallelogram originating from the same point. So here A and B are the two vectors acting on any particle simultaneously, and we are in a position to represent it by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Then resultant of A and B is represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram from the same point, both in magnitude as well as direction. This is your parallelogram law vector addition. And polygon law vector addition says that if more than two vectors acting on a particle simultaneously can be represented by the sides of an open polygon taken in order, then their resultant or their sum is represented both in magnitude as well as direction by the closing sides of the parallelogram taken in reverse order. So here A, B, C, D, they are the vectors acting on any particle simultaneously, and we are in a position to represent it by the adjacent sides of an open polygon A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, E. Then their resultant is represented both in magnitude and direction by the closing side of the parallelogram. So this is the closing side of the parallelogram taken in reverse order. They are coming in this order. So reverse order. This will represent the sum of A, B, C and D. So this is your E is equal to A plus B plus C plus D. This is your polygon law of vector addition. Now a vector addition is commutative. You can see A plus B is equal to B plus A. A plus B is equal to C, or B plus A is equal to C. So A plus B is equal to B plus A. This property of vector is your commutative property. Then associative property. You can see here A plus B is equal to A plus B, and A plus B plus C is equal to D. Now see in the next diagram, B plus C is your B plus C, and A plus B plus C is your D vector. So A plus B add first, thereafter you add C, or add B plus C first, thereafter you add A. Both will give you the same result. This is associative property. Now subtraction of vector. In fact, subtraction of a vector is addition of a negative vector. Addition of a negative vector. You can see this is A plus B is your A plus B. Then negative of B vector is your minus B. This is minus B vector. This is A vector. So this will give you the sum of A vector and minus B vector. That is A minus B. So subtraction of a vector is nothing but it is the addition of a negative vector. Now analytical method of vector addition. See the statement we have just discussed regarding triangular vector addition, that if two vectors acting on a particle simultaneously can be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of the triangle taken in order. So this is then their resultant is represented both in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle taken in reverse order. And see, suppose this is P and this is your Q vector. Then extending OA to M and dropping perpendicular from C to extended OA vector CM. Now from the triangle ACM, in triangle ACM you can see cos theta is equal to AM by AC, and AM is equal to AC cos theta. Similarly, sin theta you can write CM sin theta. AM sin theta. CM is equal to AM sin theta. So in triangle OCM using Pythagoras theorem you can write OC square is equal to OM square plus CM square. Now in place of OM you can write OA plus AM. Now OA square plus 2OA into AM plus CM square and AM square. Now in triangle AMC you can see AM square plus CM square is equal to AC square. So we can write OC square is equal to OA square plus 2OA into AM is equal to AC square. Now in place of AC from the triangle ACM you can write AC cos theta. Now AC has its magnitude is equal to Q. Has its magnitude equal to Q. So OA square plus 2OA AC cos theta plus AC square. Now substitute the magnitude of the vectors. R square is equal to P square plus 2PQ cos theta Q square. So R is equal to root under P square plus 2PQ cos theta plus Q square. So this formula is used to find out the resultant of two vectors, magnitude of the resultant of the two vectors, or sum of the magnitude of the sum of the two vectors. Now for direction, let us write tan alpha. Then tan alpha is equal to Cm by OM, and OM can be represented as OA plus AM. Now in triangle ACM, sin theta is equal to Cm by AC. So Cm is equal to AC sin theta, and cos theta is equal to AM by AC. So AM is AC cos theta. Put the value, you will get the formula to find out the direction. So this formula is used to find out the direction of the resultant vector, and R is equal to root under P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. That will be used to find out the magnitude of the sum of the two vectors. Now here direction is given with respect to the first vector. So here first vector is P, so direction of resultant vector is given with respect to P vector. At what angle with respect to the first vector the resultant is acting, in this way. Now if the two vectors are parallel, then theta is equal to 0 degree. Now put cos theta is equal to 0, you will get P plus Q, and tan alpha 0, alpha is 0 degree. So it is in the direction of the first vector. So when two vectors are acting in the same direction, the resultant can be obtained simply by adding the magnitude of the two vectors. And if they are perpendicular to each other, then R will be put under P square plus Q square, and direction will be given by tan inverse Q by P. And if they are anti-parallel, then theta is 180 degree. Substitute the value of theta 180, you will get P minus Q. So if P vector is greater, then you will write P minus Q whole square. If Q is greater, then you will write Q minus P whole square. So greater vector will be written first, because when we get a negative number under the square root, that will be an imaginary number. So when two vectors are anti-parallel, then the resultant is represented simply by taking the difference of the magnitude of the two vectors, and it will be directed in the direction of first vector. Now unit vector, very important. Unit vector, a vector Unit vector of a vector is a vector of unit magnitude and has the same direction as that of the vector. And a unit vector is represented by letter with cap, letter with arrowhead, letter with arrowhead, cap, a cap. This is how to represent a unit vector. So it lacks both dimension and unit. A unit vector is a vector that has magnitude of exactly 1 and drawn in the direction of the given vector. Its only purpose is to specify the direction in a space. When you multiply a scalar quantity with a unit vector, it becomes a vector quantity and now it is representing its direction. A unit vector of a given vector can be expressed as a product of its magnitude and unit vector. Unit vector will give its direction and magnitude will be given by the magnitude of the vector. So here this is magnitude of a vector and this is for direction of the a vector. So with this video comes to an end.